G'day folks, Winks here, and welcome back to Nomifactory. So I tried to record a video yesterday, but unfortunately things kept coming up. So I have made a bit of progression off camera. Well, technically it was on camera, but obviously it's not gonna actually make it to YouTube. So we really want to power our way out of MV, and we're not actually that far away. I think today will probably be a long video because I would ideally... So we need to get the MV circuit assembler, but I would also like to get HV circuits. Preferably these ones, not those ones. So basically it would be nice to get the processor assemblies and build our first HV machine. So basically where we are now is I have the precision laser engraver, which we use for making wafers, when I find it, which you use for making wafers, which gets us the second tier of LV circuits and the second tier of MV circuits, which are then used to make the first tier of HV circuits. The other part of the puzzle is we need silicon in order to get transistors to make the circuits. So silicon requires us to upgrade our blast furnace to Camfell coils. So Camfell is these are fairly easy to make, they're just a bit time consuming. So basically we just need an ingot of molten copper, 2 ingots of aluminium, and what is that? I think that's 8 ingots of, 8 ingots of Camfell per coil. And Camfell is basically made from where are we? Camfell is made from iron, aluminium, and chrome. It gives you 3. So basically, iron, we're getting iron ingots from DML, so just grind those up. Aluminium we have renewably, and chrome we just get from ruby ore, from processing ruby ore. So once the Camfell dust is cooked in the blast furnace, it produces hot ingots, it produces these hot ingots, which you then need to wash in the chemical bath with water. Distilled water is faster, but we don't have a source of distilled water right now. So basically, the other thing we need is the lenses for the laser engraver. So these can be made one of 2 ways. You can either make them with a plate of a particular gem, so a sapphire plate for example, but that requires an MV lathe, and we really don't want to make an MV lathe. We will make a HV one, because we'll move all our crafting machines to HV, but we don't want to make an MV one. Or you can get an exquisite sapphire. Or you can use an exquisite sapphire, which lets you do it at LV. And basically if you do that, then or the way to get the exquisite sapphire is to put purified sapphire ore into the sifter, which we obviously had to build a sifter earlier in order to get the flawless emeralds for the MV sensors and emitters. In the beginning, we will have a sapphire lens, a ruby lens, and a diamond lens. So the sapphire lens is for the... I believe it's for the RAM wafers? No, sorry, the emerald lens is for the RAM wafers. The sapphire lens is for the ULPIC wafers, which we need for the MV energy hatch. And then the ruby lens is for the integrated... logic circuit wafers. We need... The other thing Camfell needs to cook is you need to upgrade the blast furnace to HV, which involves putting 2 MV energy hatches on. This is a really janky setup that I've just... I'm kind of just building spaghetti around this blast furnace. I will sort of fix it off camera, but I'm kind of just inclined to sort of roll with this until we get to HV. So all I'm waiting for now, really, is to make the 16 coils you need for the blast furnace. You need 2 ingots of 2 stacks of Camfell, and basically to make the and we also need 32 aluminium foils. Yeah, we need 32 aluminium foils. And basically that is what we're waiting for now. In the meantime, I have expanded the DML setup. I'm probably going to keep interchangeably changing between DME and DML. I have actually expanded the mob farming setup. So we now have a skeleton data model to get us tin, and we also have a gas data model to get us silver. Currently, I am just feeding these by hand into a loot fabricator. But now that we have the self-aware data models, we will be rolling in pristine matter. So set that going, get us 12 stacks of silver. This is also slowly chugging along. So we're at 103 buckets of sulfuric acid and 346 buckets of polyethylene. That's going to see us for quite a while. So one of the things we'll probably... I wonder how we're doing for chlorine. Yeah, we're at 242 buckets of chlorine. So one thing we will probably do is craft some polyvinyl chloride to get us cheaper plastic circuits. But yeah, so actually we'll do that now. So polyvinyl chloride is fairly... Oh, actually, no, we can't because we have a shortage of oxygen. So polyvinyl chloride is just ethylene and chlorine to make vinyl chloride, and then it's vinyl chloride and oxygen to make polyvinyl chloride. But we are short on oxygen, so we should probably do something about that. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably just going to spam a few more centrifuges, because like I think I've said before, actually I don't know, I've attempted to record so many times I could be wrong. This can support 8 centrifuges. One of these can support 8 centrifuges, so we'll probably throw a few more centrifuges on. So I might go and do that. We do get oxygen from electrolyzing ruby. But that's obviously not, yeah, we haven't got loads and loads of ruby. In fact, I have actually run out, I'm fairly sure. So we'll just shove the camphor in here and get the wires going. And then the really nice thing is that will make things like vibrant alloy and whatnot slightly faster. They should actually be faster now. They'll actually be, because we're now running at HB, so they'll be they should be like 10 seconds per ingot now. So we might batch craft some vibrant alloy and some energetic alloy. I might set that going. But anyway, I'm just gonna go away and get the last bits for and basically just wait for these to finish. And then we'll look at what we need to do. Well, actually, realistically, I also need to do silicon, which is going to take a while. And silicon basically works the same way as camphor. So we put the silicon dust into... we put silicon dust into the... oh, you can do silicon dioxide and carbon. Ah, that's actually quite... Yeah, that's actually quite neat, because we have loads of silicon dioxide, and carbon is really easy to get. We can just get carbon from charcoal. So I might actually do that. That's a very quick recipe. And that'll only take 6 seconds at HB. So that's, yeah, we'll do that. But it's still going to take a while, because we'll do a few stacks of it. But yeah, basically, because I used to do this recipe. This recipe's dumb, but I was lazy. So yeah, basically what we'll do is, so what happens is we basically put the, we get the hot silicon ingot, we then have to cool it down. So it's basically the same thing as what we're doing with the camphor now, but obviously it's very time consuming. So what we'll do is I will come back when we have the camphor coils, because upgrading your blast furnace is always a milestone. In Greg Tech, there's even a quest line that tracks it. Even a quest line that tracks it all the way down to titanium coils. So we will come back once we've got the coils, and we'll place the coils and see that lovely new temperature. And then I'll probably disappear again while we wait for the various things to smelt. But realistically, the goal is it would be really nice to get the second tier 3 circuits. So I think this is going to be a longer video, but hopefully you're all happy to stick around. Anyway, I'll see you guys in a bit. And we're back. So we've got our 16 Camphel coils. Gets us a nice quest. And we can now upgrade our blast furnace. What I've also done in the meantime is I have whacked a load more centrifuges onto here. I'm going to move these into their own dedicated area at some point, but for now I'll just leave them where they are. But let's get rid of these cuprinickel coils. I was going to build a second blast furnace, but I don't think I'll bother right now. We should be able to ride this one through to HV. There's less stuff that needs the blast furnace in the early game in Nomifactory. It's not like GTNH where yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you know, like End Steel needs the blast furnace, and you know, there's a whole load of other stuff, you know, pulsating iron, conductive iron, etc. Obviously energetic alloy and vibrant alloy need the blast furnace, but otherwise we should be fine. I'm still using these for steel, primarily because I can just sort of leave them going in the background. And we still have a decent enough stockpile of aluminium, but this will now do aluminium pretty fast. I think this will do aluminium in like 5 seconds now. In fact, let's test it. Let's see our new brand spanking new faster blast furnace. Yeah, there we go. So it's 7 seconds now with nitrogen boosted aluminium. The other really neat thing is I don't know if it'll work with shaders, although we're not running shaders in this dimension. You may have noticed this dimension, you know, the water still looks like normal Minecraft water, etc. I believe it's because I have some overrides in the shader pack, because I copied this pack from my GTNH folder, and I have it disabled for all of the Galactic Craft dimensions, and this Void's dimension ID is 119, and I believe that may be a dimension in GTNH as well, so it's probably disabled because I probably have an override in the shader pack to disable it for this dimension. But yeah, these blast furnaces are actually emissive, and I believe they get brighter as you increase coil tier. But for now, we just need to throw a load of silicon in. So we're basically gonna get silicon we're gonna get it the quicker way. So we're gonna do not that. Charcoal? No, need wood. So I'm just gonna make a load of carbon and shove it in here. I've added some more storage cells to the ME drive. I've filled up the last 4 slots. I did want to do 4Ks, but 4Ks need these logic processors, which, unlike the calculation processors, you can't make them with wafers. You can only make these with printed silicon, which means we need silicon plates. Whereas the calculation processor you could make with a wafer instead of printed silicon. I presume that's to stop you from rushing 4K storage cells. It may also stop you from rushing auto crafting as well, because I think these are needed in some of the auto crafting components. But yeah, so I'm just going to get a load of charcoal to get a load of carbon, and then the ratio is, it's 3 to 2. So basically, if we want to do, so if we do, where are we? 3 stacks of silicon dioxide. Actually, just do 6 stacks of silicon dioxide. There we go. 6 stacks of silicon dioxide to 4, or that'd be 4 stacks of carbon. So I need more charcoal. Right. So. And then we basically just grind these up, throw them in the electrolyzer, grind these up, throw the dust in the electrolyzer, and we get carbon. Oh, I still have ruby dust in there. Let's throw that into the centrifuge. And we should end up with, yeah. We're building up a decent amount of raw rubber pulp as well. So I'm just gonna chuck the silicon on, and then once we get the silicon, we can get our our first or we can get the transistors, which gets us our first HV circuit, which gets us the MV circuit assembler. And then from there, we'll work our way towards HV. We can actually make these right now, can't we? I think. Nickel, zinc, ferrite rings, ingots. See, yeah, these are done in the blast furnace in GTNH, if I recall. Actually, they're done in the blast furnace here, too. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, they are done in the blast furnace here as well. And this is one of our first recipes that actually needs oxygen gas. But these are just, yeah, nickel, zinc, and iron. So they're easy enough to make. So yeah, I might go away and start crafting the bits for transistors, because we'll need those for the tier 2 HV circuits. And I might start batch crafting a load of plastic substrates, because we're going to need those for the we're going to need those for the for the final tier of MV circuits and the final tier of LV circuits. And once we have plastic and once we can make these microprocessors, LV circuits will be very cheap. So yeah, so I will go away and we'll get some more. We'll get the bits for the MV circuit assembler. And we're back. So I've been smelting a load of stuff. We have silicon now. I've batch crafted some energetic alloy. I've also, now that we have DML for gold and silver and copper, I've batch crafted a load of electrum and cupronickel. I'm still just handcrafting polyvinyl chloride for the circuit boards, but there's just something I wanted to quickly point out before I go back to doing that, which is, if you look at the vinyl chloride recipe, it takes ethylene and chlorine, and it gives you vinyl chloride, but it also gives you hydrochloric acid back. So you really have a couple of choices. You can obviously use the hydrochloric acid for something else, but we are automating it here, so we don't really need to. So the other thing is again, resources, especially chlorine, are a bit tight early game. Even though we have our salt water set up over there, it's still very slow. So what you can do, but we're not too fussed about hydrogen. So what we can do is we can just, instead of using the hydrochloric acid that we get back from this, we just shove it in the electrolyzer. And we will take the chlorine out when it hurries up. And then basically what we'll do is we'll take the hydrogen out because we don't really care about the hydrogen, and we will void the hydrogen because we've got nowhere to store it, but we can take the chlorine out and loop it back in with another 16 buckets of... no, that was the wrong tank. With another 16 buckets of ethylene. It's not a 1-to-1 ratio, so you do lose 50% of the chlorine because vinyl chloride is 2 buckets of chlorine to 1 bucket of ethylene. So you only get 50% of the chlorine back, but it's very important to make your resources go as far as they can in this early game. Blast furnace is actually now done. So we just needed nickel, zinc, ferrite rings for the... what are they? The coils? Yeah, the inductors. We don't need inductors right now, but we will do shortly to get the tier 2 HV circuits, so we might as well just kick them off and make a load of nickel. As far as I'm aware, the only use for nickel, zinc, ferrite is to make inductors, so just turn it into rings and store them somewhere. But yeah, so now we can, now we've got, now we just need a little bit more, we just need to get the plastic boards, and then we're in good shape. So I'm just going to go away and continue batch crafting, and then we're going to come back and get the MV circuit assembler. See you guys in a bit. Oh, actually, one thing I did quickly forget, I have added another data model. I have now added the thermal elemental data model. This can be made from any thermal dust, so cryophium, aerophium, petrophium, etc. I used aerophium dust because our spawn point is near a desert, and you can kill the blitz mob in the desert to get these. I've put them in the network already. To get these blitz rods. And basically one of these just turns into 2 powder, and you just need 2 powder to make the elemental data model. There's a couple of reasons why I've got this. First of all, it's a source of obsidian. One of the outputs from this is obsidian dust. And secondly, the other reason is that we will need all of the thermal dusts for Nether Stars in the future, and we'll also need them for primal mana, which is needed for the thermal expansion machines in the future. So this is good to have early game for the obsidian, and then eventually we'll get more of them to make the other thermal dusts. There is a way to make the thermal dusts without DML. It's a very annoying recipe because it needs phosphorus. Oh no, it needs hydrofluoric acid. I'm thinking of something else. I think I'm thinking of something else. I thought this needed luminescence, which needs phosphorus, but no, it just needs pulsating dust and hydrofluoric acid, but we don't have a source of fluorine right now, so yeah. And obviously just getting it from a data model is so much easier. So yeah, so I thought I'd just quickly, also just quickly point that out. And I'm just leveling it up, letting it level up. But yeah, that now gives us renewable obsidian, which will give us renewable dark steel and a few other things. So anyway, I will see you guys in a bit. And we're back. So I've got a bunch of plastic circuit boards, batch crafting. In fact, I'll just quickly take them out to get the quest. Yep. So I've got a bunch of circuit boards, batch crafting. I'm about to run out of iron 3, so I definitely don't have enough iron 3 left. So I just batch crafted 384 plastic circuit boards. But yeah, basically, I need to make some more iron 3. But what I do have is I have the bits to make the 2 rubbish HV circuits that we need to make the MV circuit assembler. So assuming I've not missed anything, should be able to chuck those in there. I needed 16 fine electrum wire. So yeah, I've just got a bunch of fine electrum wire, crafting, and in theory, in 80 seconds time, we will have the 2 of those. I've also started, but now that we have a decent stock, or I've got a decent stock of pristine thermal matter. I had 2 stacks in here, so I used that to craft 32 stacks of obsidian dust, which is basically going to see our dark steel needs for quite a bit. But what I've also done is so I'm batch crafting 256 dark steel right now. What I'm actually going to do though is turn 2 stacks of that into end steel, which is basically just dark steel with end stone dust in an alloy smelter. And the reason being is that we can rip up all these vibrant alloy conduits and replace them with end steel conduits, and we won't be outgrowing those before we move to the new base. So there'll be the end steel conduits transfer 32,768 RF per tick. So that will be enough for our time left in the void, because that's an amp of LUV. That's a amp of IV when converted to Great Tech power, which is 16 amps of HV. And given that we're probably not going to move into EV in this void, we should be fine. So I've also just been batch crafting some energetic and vibrant alloy, and basically just whittling away the time while waiting for various things like the plastic circuit boards to craft. But we now have 2 HV circuits, so we can now technically craft HV machines, but we don't want to use those circuits. They're not fun to craft. So we're going to make the MV circuit assembler. So we need the emitter, we need the robot arm, which is 3 motors. We need, oh, what happened there? And then we need 2 conveyors, so that's another 4 motors. And we just need the MV machine hull. And there we go. We now have the MV circuit assembler. So we can now... Got any more? I've got the plastic quest as well. So we now have the MV circuit assembler. So again, the circuit assembler is one of those big tier goals in each tier. So we are actually going to begin our journey to HV now, and we are basically not going to use this one ever again now. So we're going to take the soldering alloy out of there, and we're going to shove it in here. So we now have no reason to use any of that soldering alloy. Sorry, to use that LV circuit assembler. And what we're actually going to do, I believe I have one somewhere. Not in here. We can use a chest transporter to move our circuit chest over to the thing. I thought I had one. Ah, there it is. So we'll just get this moved over. I mean, arguably, I could just put all this in the ME network now because it's more of a, it's less of a back and forth to go from here to there than it was to go from there to all the way over there. So now we can get the next tier of MV circuits. So basically all that's left for us to do before we start looking at HV machines is we'll get the second tier of MV circuits, and then we'll get the processor assembly, which is a nice, cheaper HV circuit. So I'll just quickly get the bits together to do that, and then we'll be back. I completely forgot that we need CPUs for the MV circuits, for the integrated processors, and I think the microprocessors need them as well. Yeah, they do. So that is just a diamond lens with wafers into the cutting machine. So they'll take a little while to craft. So we'll be back once we've got all the bits. But yeah, I forgot. I should probably just point out that I completely forgot that I needed CPUs. So you do need a diamond lens by the time you get down to this point of the quest book. You do need to have a diamond lens for your laser engraver. And we're back, and we have our first HV circuits. So, I actually completely neglected there is something else we need for HV. So we have the circuits, but we actually can't make any HV machines yet because we don't have stainless steel. But we can make stainless steel in our blast furnace now, and unlike camphor and silicon, it doesn't need cooling down. We are... And I don't think it has a long smelting time either. But basically, the only annoying things about it are chrome, which we have a decentish supply of, and manganese. So manganese comes from pyrolusite ore, and I believe there is actually manganese ore as well. But pyrolusite ore is what you'll sort of be looking for, and basically you get 1 manganese and 1 chrome to 9 stainless steel, so it's actually pretty decent. The problem is our inventory is a bit full. Yeah, our inventory is a bit full. So we're going to want a few stacks of this. What is the smelt time like on this? Yeah, nitrogen boosted is... Yeah, nitrogen boosted is 36.8 seconds at HB, so it is going to take a little while. We don't get any benefit from or we get a little bit of benefit from the camphor coils. So the blast furnace coils, for every 900 degrees, for every 900 Kelvin you are over the recipe requirement, you get an energy discount. I think it's 5%. And for every 1800 you get a perfect overclock, where the recipe will I believe the recipe will get 4 times faster for 4 times the energy consumption. So the instead of just being 2 times faster for 4 times energy. So basically, at the moment, obviously we can't get the perfect overclock because our limit is 27 or 2800 Kelvin, I believe. But we will get the energy reduction, which I think will take it down to 456 EU per tick. But we're not really struggling for power. So I'm gonna throw a load of stainless steel in the blast furnace because I'm not sure if we can even make the energy converter yet. Because I think that also needs a... Yeah, that also needs a HP machine hull. So the other thing we'll need a decent amount of is vibrant alloy wire, because that is the HV superconductor. So energetic is the MV one, vibrant alloy is the HV one. And we'll do a setup basically like this. So we will basically... obviously, we're not going to rebuild every machine. We'll leave the automation and stuff as it is. But all of the, the alloy smelter, the wire mill, the fluid solidifier, the autoclave, all the crafting machines that we're using on a regular basis, we're going to rebuild all those as HV. But the design might actually be slightly different to allow for auto crafting, because we are very close to being able to do auto crafting. I also just quickly set up a little iron 3 chloride setup here. So basically, just to automate, because we're already automating the production of hydrochloric acid, so just to automate the production of iron 3 chloride, so that I'm not doing it by hand. I still have to feed the iron dust in by hand, but that's not the end of the world. So I'm going to go away, and I'm going to get the stainless steel cooked, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to get our first series of HV machines. And that is basically, that signals the transition towards the mid-game. So basically, if you sort of, again, follow the quests, it sort of signals transition towards the mid-game. So basically, the culmination of HV really is the clean room. Because that's probably the next big milestone for us, is the clean room, because it unlocks all of the more complicated circuits like EV circuits and beyond. I'm not a huge fan of the clean room. I just find it really it's a bit resource intensive for this point in the game. But I like the mechanic. The mechanic for this is much nicer than GTNH. It's a lot more forgiving. So the quest book explains the differences. Basically, the primary difference is the voiding. The clean room in GTNH has a chance to void outputs from recipes if the room is not 100% clean. In Nomifactory, that does not happen, or in GTCEu, that does not happen. So if the clean room isn't clean enough, if the clean room becomes dirty while the recipe is running, the recipe will complete, and then it just won't allow any more recipes to start. And if the clean room is dirty when you put the ingredients in, then the recipe just won't start. But we'll have an entire episode dedicated to the clean room. We're still a little bit off it. But yeah, so I'm going to get the stainless steel done, and then we should be able to start crafting HV machines. So I'll see you guys in a bit. And we're back. So, while we have nearly a stack of stainless steel, it's not the fastest thing in the world, but once we get a stack, we'll at least be able to start getting some of the basic HV machines, like the wire mill and so on. In the meantime, though, while you wait for the blast furnace or blast furnaces, you should really look at batch crafting the stuff that you need for HV. So, because you'll be spending a lot more time in that than you would have done in MV. I actually almost ran out of power because I placed down more loot fabricators. So we now have 2 additional loot fabricators, one making gold and one making silver, because we're going to need lots of both of these. So HV motors take electrum wire, which is made from gold and silver, and they also take silver cable. and then pretty much every HV machine takes gold wire or gold cable. So we definitely will be needing lots of gold and silver in HV. And the reason we nearly ran out of power is because these have an unlimited drain rate while they're filling their buffer. It only costs 1,000 RF per tick to actually make loot, but when they're filling their 10 million RF buffer, they actually have what appears to be an unlimited drain rate. So basically, they nearly drained this capacitor. But obviously it's still chugging along. These are slowly still topping it up. The funny thing is, these aren't completely emptying, simply because of the fact that these put together are outputting more power than this can hold, than this can transmit. That's going to be fixed very soon. So in the meantime, I have Electrum. We're making 2x Electrum cables, and we are going to start making. So what I did was the integrated processors. I turned all of those into. So I made a stack of them, and I turned them into 32 HV circuits. The reason being is we already have a good amount of. MV circuits. We've still got 58 of the mid-tier MV circuits, and we've got 17 of the rubbish ones. We're also not low on LV circuits either, I don't think. Yeah, we've still got 34 LV circuits, so we don't need to rush into making microprocessors just yet. But basically, I've crafted up 9 stacks of stainless steel, which will see us for a little bit. By the time we need more, we should have more blast furnaces. And hopefully HV energy hatches to be able to run them at EV. But basically, the plan is that we are going to have 2 HV lines. So we're going to have one here, which will be a 8 amp energy converter, probably into a 8 or 16 amp battery buffer. There's no real point matching the battery buffer to the converter, so 8 to 8, there's probably no point because our main storage buffer is over here. And we are going to upgrade this to a vibrant capacitor bank. I'll probably do it off camera, I'll probably do it in between episodes. And then what we're going to do is run 2... So normally what I did in GTNH is, because AE had channels enabled, I couldn't really have a row of more than 8 machines. So what I would do is I would actually do something like this. I would do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I would basically do the same thing again. And what I would do is I'd actually run the power in between. And then I would put... No, sorry. I would run the power around the back. So basically I have another row like so. And I would run the power in between. And then I would put ME interfaces. I don't have another block to represent ME interfaces, but basically I would put the big full block ME interfaces on top of each machine, pointing downwards, and they can pass channels through each other, but they can only pass up to 8 channels, which is why the rows were capped at 8. And I would run a dense cable up the side, so there would be a dense cable coming down from the top down to the ground, where then it would obviously connect off to the rest of the network. So 4 rows of these would basically occupy 32 channels on a P2P tunnel. However, in Nomifactory, we don't have channels enabled. So I don't have to do any design like that. I can literally... And we're using lossless cables. The Vibrant Alloy cables are completely lossless, because obviously that's the other thing that you have to watch out for normally in Greg Tech is cable loss. But basically, we can just have a row going as long as we want, because we don't have to worry about cable loss or AE2 channels. So literally, the design will be the same as this over here, but the machines won't be off the ground. And the reason they won't be off the ground is because we won't be bothering with this storage crate setup. The aim will be to get ME interfaces onto these machines ASAP, really. Even if we don't have auto crafting, that's fine, because what we can do is we won't be able to batch load ingredients, but the outputs will always go back into the ME network. But we're not actually that far away from auto crafting, I don't think. So we will probably be looking at that, maybe even in the next episode, actually, to get some very basic auto crafting anyway, probably for things like components, motors and stuff like that, for example. But yeah, basically we can just keep loading. We can just keep putting machines in a big row and run ME interfaces on top of them and not have to worry about channels or cable loss. So what we'll do, actually, just to simulate it, so then I can measure distances, and then what we're going to do is we're going to bring this across, and we are going to make a row of blast furnaces. So what will happen initially is we will probably put a MV, because we still don't have HV energy hatches, so we'll probably put an MV energy converter here, probably an 8 amp one, or a 16 amp one. If we did an 8 amp, that will let us have 2 blast furnaces. If we do 16, that'll let us have 4. And basically we will run the... so the thing we have to account for here is the size of the blast furnaces, so we actually do need to move more. But yeah, basically we'll have the row of blast furnaces here. And whether or not they are level emitted, whether or not we get to... I don't think we're at the point where we're going to set up a load of passive blast furnaces with 82 level emitters. We just need to get more, so then we can keep them... So then we can do multiple blast furnace recipes and keep our crafting times... keep the time that we're waiting down. And then what we'll do is, where the blast furnaces are now... this will turn into a couple of things. First of all, we'll move all this over a bit and expand it a bit to produce oxygen and nitrogen and send it into ender tanks. The other thing that we really could do with is a tree farm to help us with rubber, because we're making rubber by hand at the moment by centrifuging sticky resin. We really need to get more rubber set up. So we'll probably look at a tree farm, and the tree farm, and then the outputs from the tree farm could be processed over here after we move this blast furnace. So yeah, basically we have plans. Have we got a stack of stainless steel? Yep. We have plans. Oh, we do. Right. So we have the stainless steel quest, and we are going to... So I think we actually get 2 stainless steel quests. We do. We get that. We get the... Not that one. We get the end game one as well. So, if I put all that... So basically, we're going to need plates. In fact, all of these need to be plates. So we'll shove that in there. And I think the first 2 things we're going to make is... Obviously, we need the energy converter. So we're going to make the energy converter, and we're going to make a wire mill and a plate bender, because they're 2 slow machines that we're currently using quite a lot of. So we'll get those made, and then that way we can get some productivity boosts here. But yeah, basically once you get to MV, to HV, you will feel the quality difference. You'll feel the quality of life difference. Everything is, the HV machines are 4 times faster than the LV machines. So you'll feel that nice quality of life difference. And yeah, basically the idea is just grab the HV wire mill and the plate bender first, because then obviously they're involved in making other machines. So we need to. So if we get those, then we'll get a bit of a productivity boost when making the other machines. That's what's 2. There we go. Right, so we're gonna make our first HV machine hull. So HV, we'll search for the energy converter. So we're gonna make we'll make the 8 amp one. So that's basically 2 of you. and then, oh, so it's one of you, and then it's the HP machine hole, which is a quest. Yep. Which is a quest, and we will grab that quest. We're getting there. The HV assembler actually isn't a huge jump. It's 6 HV circuits, which we have, but I don't think we're necessarily panicking too much on the yeah. We can live with the MV assembler for a bit. So what we need now is we need 8x red alloy wire, which means we actually need more red alloy. Or we need the... Actually, I'll tell you what, we'll make 2 because we're gonna need another converter for the thing anyway. So if we just empty you out, just empty this out and basically shove you in there, and then we can at least get the... Oh no, I do. No, it is 2 times silver wire I need for motors. Yeah, it is 2 times, or it's 2 times silver cable. So if we wait for that, come on, hurry up. And then we drop that back down to 2, and we just shove those back in there, shove you in there, and grab the other red alloy. Later, we don't need it right now. So if we just do that, and then we need to make the 8x gold cables. So this is, I believe, 32 gold wires that we need. So if we just do 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's that. Yeah. And then we just shove that in a assembler. We are out of rubber. We have some spare though. So I've been keeping this chemical reactor going. So we'll chuck that in. What we'll do is we'll pull that out, put you in, shove you in, and then we can shove those back in. So if a machine won't switch recipes until it runs out of ingredients, so that's why it proceeded to do all 4 of these before going back to doing the 1x cables. So if you mix and match ingredients in a machine, it will finish whatever recipe it's in the middle of, and it will continue to do that recipe until it runs out of ingredients, and then it will scan for new recipes again. And there we go. I don't think there's any quest for this. So we have the HP energy converter. And basically we're just going to shove that there, and look at that. We have glorious HP energy that we can't do anything with just yet. But I've made enough vibrant alloy for 8 cables, or I've made 8 vibrant alloy cables, so that'll give us 16 machines. So what do we? So we want to make the plate bender. I should have just made not one of you. We just want to make the. So we want to make the bending machine. So this requires, yeah, so we need stainless steel rods and we need electric motors. We also need, yeah. So what I'll do is I will go away and, because I need to throw some silver into the, assembler to get the cables. So what we'll do is we will come back we'll come back in a little bit once I've got the ingredients ready for the motors, and then we'll go from there. Everything else is fairly easy. Rods, we're just doing the extruder, and for the piston we need a small stainless steel gear, which again we're just doing the extruder. We do need some more plates, but we should have those now, and we can get our first couple of HV machines. So I'll see you guys in a bit. And look at it, our first HV machine. So we can't really craft much more, unfortunately, because I'm still waiting for more stainless steel. But there's our very first HV machine. And we can now put something in it. Let's go get some more stainless steel. we can now put in, yeah, let's just make 5 plates. And now it should be, yeah, look at that, 13 ticks to make a per plate. That's nearly half a second. 20 ticks is a second, so that's brilliant. Actually, I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't actually know that it required a stainless steel plate to make the plate bender. We should be able to make the wire mill now too. Because the wire mill is just motors and a 2 more. So the wire mill is just motors. So the one big quality of life thing for the wire mill, the one big quality of life thing you get out of getting the HP wire mill is making gold wire. So I have looked at the code before, but it's been a very long time, so I don't quite remember. But basically, my understanding, if I recall correctly, is the way that GregTech CEu calculates recipe times for materials is based on things like the mass and whatever else. I believe that I don't believe they're statically defined recipe times. I believe they are dynamically calculated based on some of the traits of the material. And gold is a material that is very slow to actually make in the in the wire assembler. So making gold wires is slower than a lot of materials. Same with gold rods. Gold rods in the lathe are quite slow compared to a lot of other materials. Whereas aluminium, for example, is generally pretty fast. So yeah, I'm not quite sure how they calculate the recipe times. But I'm fairly sure, if I remember reading correctly, they are not static. They are dynamically calculated in the code. So yeah, we have just stocking up on glowstone. So yeah, there we go. We have our first 2 HP machines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the other crafting machines rebuilt. So like the lathe, the compressor, and the alloy smelter, and a handful of others. And there's a big reason to do the alloy smelter. In fact, we may even be able to do it now, because I don't think it actually needs any components. No, it just needs circuits and camphor wire, which we have, or which we can make. So we will actually make the alloy smelter now, and there is actually a big reason to make the alloy smelter, because we want to upgrade our. Let's use our shiny new HP wire mill. What is it? 4x, isn't it? Is it? Yeah. We want to upgrade these to N steel conduits, and basically we can't make N steel. You need an MV alloy smelter to make N steel, so we might as well just make a HB one, and shove it there, and then basically we can do. Where are we? End stone dust, so let's do a stack of that, and dark steel, stack of that, and we shove that in here, and there we go. It takes 8 seconds. Jeez, that means it would have taken 16 seconds at MV per ingot. That's not fun. But yeah, basically, we only need a couple of stacks of this. But yeah, that'll allow us to upgrade our conduits to N steel conduits, and then we can also look at upgrading this to a vibrant capacitor bank. But I'll probably do that in between episodes. But yeah, I'm probably going to cut the episode here. I think next on the list is probably going to be auto crafting. At least some very basic auto crafting. So, because we can, in theory, make the ME interface now. So those are fairly easy to make. It's mainly just the robot arm that's really annoying, but that's fine. And the other important component is the molecular assembler, which is actually really easy to make. It's basically just pretty much all AE2 things except for the aluminium plate and the crafting station, but we have 4 crafting stations over there that we can repurpose. And the other thing we need is the crafting units to make the crafting CPUs, which we can make all these. We can make all these things. So what I'll probably do is, in the next episode, I'll probably look at auto crafting, at some very basic auto crafting. So we'll probably want a molecular assembler, primarily so we can autocraft interfaces. And then we probably just want to look at what we can sort of get away with autocrafting with our sort of new HV machine setup. Some things are annoying, like cables and like cables, for example, because they need liquid rubber. But we could probably just pre-fill an assembler. A HV assembler should house a decent amount of rubber. I can't remember what the tank size is on the HV assembler, but it's probably... The MV1 is 12 buckets, so the HV1 is probably gonna be... I doubt it's gonna be double. It's probably gonna be 16 or 18, maybe. We'll see. Can we make the HV assembler right now? Let's can we make the HV assembler? We need robot arms, conveyors. So this is basically what, 6? Yeah, we're out of stainless steel rods. Okay, so we can't make the HV assembler right now, unfortunately, because we need more stainless steel. But anyway, if you've hung around this long and are still watching, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I believe this may actually be the first double-digit episode. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. But anyway, for anyone who has been watching the other episodes, again, really appreciate it. This is all still quite new to me, and to be honest, like I said, I just wanted to bring people along with the journey. These videos are never going to be sort of massively polished or anything. I just want to bring people along and show off what is a really great mod pack, and hopefully maybe inspire at least one person to play it. So thank you very much. I hope you all have a lovely day, and I will see you next time.